in a small town in northeast Colorado. It's called
Thank you very much. I forgot. Help. Whoa. Turn this down. I think I have a terabyte now. I didn't even work on it. Wow. Wouldn't that have been funny, Steve? Yeah, Marshall. The moment I take the mic and put it around here. Lower this one.
Test one. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Does this clip? Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing today? Thank you very much for coming by and saying hi. Everybody watching on the live stream, we really appreciate it. That's awesome. So many nice people here today. So many people that showed up. 6. Yes. Okay. That's good enough for rock and roll. Good enough. Testing. Hello.
The ground is fine. Yeah, the ground is fine. Okay. unplug this.
Hey folks, how's it going? How's it going? Pretty good. All right, we'll take pretty good. Well, my name's Kevin O'Reilly. I'm the executive director at the Fulu Foundation. We're super stoked to be here. We're very grateful that you all are here, whether you're here to hear us talk about ownership or you thought you were just coming for dinner with your family. We're glad you're here too. But I think the reason that a lot of us are here is because at some point we fell in love with technology, right? Raise your hand if you fell in love with technology at some point. Now, keep your hand up if you feel like you love technology a little bit less these days. Yeah, as much as we may love technology, it feels like it doesn't love us back, right? We are losing control over the data that our tech generates, right? We are losing the ability to fix our stuff or to choose how to fix our stuff, our right to repair. Our privacy is being impacted, and just our ability to modify our tech to make it work for us is not the same as it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. A big reason for that is a 28-year-old copyright law called the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, which we're going to be hearing a lot about today. And the fact that when manufacturers use digital locks, even if you own the device yourself, you're not able to get past that lock. You're not able to control your stuff, you're not able to make it work for you. So I'm really excited. We've got a killer panel that we're going to be talking about the impacts that this has on our privacy, on our ability to own video games, on our right to repair. And then, of course, you're going to be hearing from Lewis, who's going to be talking more about the DMCA and the issues that arise from that. And then finally, every one of you, hopefully every one of you, is going to be writing a postcard to your member of Congress, to Representative Russell Fry, asking him to support our priority legislation, the Freedom to Fix Act, which will update the DMCA to make sure that repair is not a copyright crime. So I want to invite up Grace from our team, as well as Steve and Lewis, and we'll get things started. How about a round of applause for our panelists? Awesome. All right. Well, before we get things started, maybe we could just go down and do a quick introduction. I think a couple of these people you might have seen before, but for those of you that haven't, Steve, could you introduce yourself?
Hi, I review computer hardware when, RAM isn't $1,500 for 2 sticks. And I run Gamers Nexus on YouTube and been doing it since 2008. So here to talk about ownership of hardware.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Grace Herman. I'm the Policy Associate with Fulu. I've been doing a lot of our ACR research and work with Kevin on the Digital Millennium Copyright Act legislation that he was mentioning.
I'm Louis Rossman. I got fired from a furniture store in the Staten Island Mall in 2006 and then started Rossman Repair Group.
Thank goodness you did. Awesome. So first of all, I want to turn to you, Grace, and talk a little bit about ACR, automatic content recognition, which I think is a really prime example of how our privacy is being violated with our tech these days. So first of all, how many people here own a smart TV?
There's an LG TV behind you.
Yeah, look at that one. We got one right there. I bet we got a couple on the wall right here. How many of you know what ACR is or what it stands for? Okay, a couple.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that Lewis and Steve's followers know about this. I make this joke sometimes, but I'm kind of a normie, so I did not know about ACR when I first started this research. Like Kevin said, it stands for Automatic Content Recognition. Needless to say, once I started this research, I lobotomized my TV, so it's no longer connected to the internet. But ACR is essentially your TV taking screenshots of what you're watching as often as every 10 milliseconds. And it's comparing those videos or that audio content to a large repository of information to accurately track all of the things that you're watching.
All of the things that you're watching?
All the things.
It's actually, you mentioned disconnecting your TV from the internet. ACR can still work on some TVs even when the internet is no longer connected. So even if you use ACR, even if you use the TV as a dumb monitor, right, like for a computer, ACR can in some cases still function.
Yeah, it's scary. Even plugging in your gaming console to an HDMI port, ACR, it's watching.
It's watching. And so what, right? Like, okay, yeah, that sounds bad, but what's the deal? Like, why should we care about this?
Well, I mean, for starters, it's creepy. Like, I think that people generally like to think that they have privacy, but I think another thing that is concerning is that this loss of privacy is really showcasing an infringement of ownership. If you're not able to take the spyware that is off the TV that is in your living room, if you're not able to control the data that you are creating by watching the content on the device that you own, that's alarming. Your ownership rights are being taken advantage of.
Absolutely. And so they're taking screenshots as often as every 10 milliseconds. What do the companies that are collecting this data then do with it?
They're making so much money. Yeah, I mean, just for one example, Vizio, they can gather up to 100 billion data points daily on the TVs. So they use all of that information to build consumer profiles with sensitive information like your race, your religion, your socioeconomic status. And then they use those advertising profiles to either sell that information to advertising agencies, or often they have an advertising agency within their company already, and they use it to sell you ads to essentially profit off of you.
Get more stuff.
Have you looked at Vizio in their earnings reports?
Don't even get me started.
So So this is where it gets crazy. So the Vizio margin on physical TVs is negative.
Oh yeah, they lose all of the TV manufacturers. They lose money on the physical devices.
They're negative 0.8% on margin. Their margin for the digital advertising part of the company is over 60%. And the reason they do this is because the problem, we'll put in quotes, is without something like planned obsolescence, your customers buy their TV, and probably most people in this room have at some point kept something like a display for more than 5 years or 3 years at least. And for companies, this is a problem because we need you to buy it every year. And so the best way to keep getting money out of people is the advertising. So.
I mean, yeah, I joke with Kevin about this a lot, but I have a secret conspiracy theory that Walmart, when they bought Vizio, did that so that they could get all of that information because it's such a big moneymaker for the TV company.
Yeah, and just to give you some numbers, right, there are projections that the advertising spend with connected TVs in 2025 was $33 billion. Then that's projected to grow to 47 by the end of the year, right? So they are getting to be a part of this huge, booming advertising business, and we're just getting watched, right? Which drives me a little bit crazy. Steve, I want to come back to you, right? You've been doing some research on this, obviously, and found that this behavior is even kind of moving into monitors. So could you tell us about your $1,200 LG monitor and what happened with that?
It's not mine anymore because I returned it.
Good choice.
It is currently Amazon's monitor. I was really conflicted about that. I don't like buying stuff for content, technically making money on it and then sending it back. But this one, I was like, I don't want it. It's scary. So yeah, this is getting into monitors now where through Windows Update, so Microsoft's a problem here too, but that's just a global constant, so that's not news. But through Windows Update, they were pushing LG software that, I came into work one day, my computer had restarted, and there was now the LG Monitor app on it, and that started pushing adware for McAfee, which is the probably most universally hated anti-virus service.
Well, the CEO though.
Yeah. and that was that's on a $1,200 display. It's just connected to a computer. There's no like smart services for like a TV.
So you bought this monitor, you plugged it in, and then it installed the software onto your computer.
Yeah. So we bought that one specifically to do the testing of this because we saw a number of reports online. And the crazy thing is the earliest report we found went back to 2024, so they've been slow rolling it. And then this year they kind of flipped the switch to push it out to everyone. But yeah, it was basically, that one was out of the box. And then for my office, I have a 3-year-old LG monitor that I've been using for 3 years, and the same thing happened. So it's just kind of, it's like you bought this thing, you've gotten far enough into ownership with it where you're like, okay, I kind of like this device. And then they sprint it on you. But I think the crazy thing with the monitors is, well, first of all, this is coming out in a video soon, but we have a number of exploits that I can't disclose yet because they're going through responsible disclosures. But each one of the software packages has major security vulnerabilities in it, and they're pushing it through Windows Update. And people like to throw Microsoft under the bus, which is fair, but also the service that LG uses to track your data. So their data collection service is called Nuance, and Nuance is owned by Microsoft, and so they're
not a lot of nuance there, is
no, they're all in it together. Yeah,
that's ridiculous. So this kind of makes me think, Louis, of something that you've talked about, right? Of like when you buy a product, you expect certain features to come with it. And yet there can be either rug pulls where they remove and put it behind paywalls, or, the kind of pushing of something that you do want. Could you tell us a little bit about like the Samsung fridges and what we're seeing with ads being pushed out onto devices?
Yeah, there was an update to a Samsung fridge where it was potentially going to have advertisements installed in it. I know that Echelon with their bikes set it up so that if you wanted to use a third-party app, you wouldn't be able to use them anymore around the same time that they were adding subscriptions and ads to the applications, as if you needed another reason to not use your treadmill or exercise bike and use it as something to put your laundry on.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I think we're seeing more of that, right? Like even with BMW and Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, your car had it wasn't an ad. It was a special offer. It was a special offer for people to be able to see a Spider-Man ad inside their car, in exchange for them including their cars inside the movie. I think Samsung recently, they have a picture frame app on their television, and they were turning that into, I forget if it was turning it into a subscription or putting ads in it. It was last August. It was one or the other. And you can't turn a picture frame into a subscription service on a television. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I guess you can, and you're trying. Go for it.
Yeah, just crazy.
It's a privilege to be advertised to, you guys. You should.
Thank you for Spider-Man dropping in to my $80,000 car.
To give you an idea of how worthwhile this data is, I went to DEF CON in 2022, and there was a person there who was bragging that he doesn't pay for his data plan. So he found a television right in between when TVs were going from dumb to smart, and it didn't just have Wi-Fi, it had a SIM card in it for actual service, and actually got 4G service. And he took it out, and it was unlimited, and it was just still being paid for in perpetuity. And he's never actually used this for his television, but he's been using it in his phone for about 5 years now. Probably 9 years at this point, and he's never paid for data. And then he tried downloading over 100 gigabytes of torrents to see if he could run it out, and it still ran at full speed. So when people say, well, the internet connection inside the device when it comes to cars, your car may have, listen, you have to pay for the internet inside your car. The reason they're willing to give you all of that data for free is because they're monetizing it later.
And I think some of the concern too with this new form of advertising is, because I think about this a lot where, I don't know, do you have AdSense enabled on your channel?
Yes.
You do, right? Yeah, we both run advertisements, right? So this is one of the things I think about where I think to me where it gets just particularly bad is it's already bad enough with Google ads or Facebook, where you can use a pixel to track someone digitally from website to website. But I think where it gets really disturbing is making that jump from digital to physical, where now the advertisements can follow you across devices. So the big thing that LG wants to do now, based on a study they ran, is the other big problem with TV owners is when there's an ad on the TV, they look at their phone. And so they ran a study on this phenomenon of people don't want to watch the ad on TV, they want to look at their phone. Why might that be? And the conclusion they came to was they need to figure out how to get the ad from the TV to the phone if you're not looking at the TV.
It's just crazy, right? It's like, let's get your eyeballs all the time, right?
Well, and the fun thing about ACR is if you've ever used the QR code for the Netflix app to connect your TV and your phone, if you're logged in on your phone and you scan that QR code, then LG does have that data. So they do know what you're doing on your phone because it's all connected.
Okay, so tinfoil hats, maybe justifiably, let's take them off for a second. Let's talk a little bit about also ownership, right? And we've been talking a lot about control and your ability to control what software, what data goes where. But also, right, ownership is about you buy something and you're able to use it. And I think video games, we have seen, again, a significant erosion of ownership, right? So, Steve, I know you haven't, you bought a couple games. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest example of this is there was a game I bought a long time ago now where I bought it in a physical store. That's how long ago it was. And this was before Sony had anything to do with discs. So bought it in the store. I think I had owned it for just past the store's return window, which is probably 14 days. I really liked the game. It was called Fury. And they shut it down. And there's no recourse to get a return because I'm outside the store's return window, not their problem. The developer's gone, they're out of business, no money back there. And then the game is not even playable, right? So it's, you now own a product, and this has gotten worse too, where now you don't even own anything, but you own a product in theory that you can't use, you can't get money back for, and you've had for, in this case it was less than a month. And that's been a repeated issue with games where they launch, they fail, and the services are turned off pretty rapidly. I think it's easy to snub games because it's games. I mean, big deal. But it is one of those this is one of the few things that people can look forward to as an escape when they get home, and you start taking that away, and it just feels particularly bad. So
Absolutely, yeah. It comes and it finds you, right? And so, of course, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the Stop Killing Games movement, right? Which sprouted up in response to this of you have a game that you purchased, that you bought, that relies on a server because it's an online game. As soon as the game developer decides to shut that down, you've got no recourse. And so, the gaming community and the open source community being what it is came together and tried to create their own servers to make it so that people could continue to enjoy the game that they, legally paid for. But
That's
Lewis,
piracy. That's illegal. It's illegal.
So we actually supported AB 1921 in California, which was called the Protect Our Games Act. And in that hearing where the bill ultimately died, we're hoping to come back next year bigger and stronger. These things take time. But there was some particularly wild kind of talking points that we heard from the electronics gaming industry. Lewis, could you tell us a little bit about that?
They said that if the gentleman was saying this allows you to run a private server, and the lobbyist said that's illegal. It's piracy. But if you go to the actual video games website, you can download the server. And she's a member of an organization that represents the company that owns the business that made that game, that made that server available in the first place.
did you see the black market comment about Minecraft?
I did that.
Okay.
Oh,
So there's another
Would it
thing
make me
of this.
angry if I read it? A lot of the times when I go through these things, I just ask myself, do I want to be angry this morning? And then if it's no, then I click it later. How angry would this make me?
I think it would make you pretty angry. It's where the bill was killed. One of the pushback from I forget who it was, but someone on the committee that was listening to the arguments asked the representative from the ESA attacking basically game ownership, asked her, so is this effectively like a black market for video games about Minecraft servers? And Minecraft server jars and binaries are made available by Minecraft to host yourself. It's like literally sanctioned by the company. And the ESA representative who was trying to kill this bill to protect games ownership said yes. It's just like a complete lie.
The
But it
rhetoric
worked.
that you hear. Go
It
ahead.
worked. And I think that's the thing that that got me excited to show up to all these hearings. This was when the California state legislature had a camera on all of them. But what got me inspired to start recording these in the early days is they were saying all these things, and nobody was ever in the room, and nobody was listening to it. Even if I didn't get something passed, I wanted people to be able to hear the things that were being said. When you run a game server that is offered by the company's own website, you are committing a crime. I wanted you to hear all these arguments, because if I were to tell you that this is what they were saying, nobody would believe me. And now the sad part is they actually do hear it, and it wins anyway, which is shocking.
I don't know how to fix that. I was hoping you had an idea.
We're trying.
We're working on it, it just shows the importance of showing up, of having the actual facts, right? And so I think, right, Lewis talked about when he was first doing this on Right to Repair. I myself have worked on Right to Repair for years now. And I think one of the things that's really important is that when you have the facts, right, when they come and say, oh, that's like the black market of gaming, but then you're able to say, hey, here on Microsoft.com is where it says that you should be able to do this. Those kind of, disingenuous arguments lose weight over time. When you have the facts, when you organize the people, when you show that this is something that people care about, you can ultimately win and overcome these things, right? Now we're at a point where 10 different states have passed some sort of right to repair legislation. So pivoting to right to repair, right? Digital locks play a role in everything that we're talking about here. The reason that a TV manufacturer can put ACR spyware on your device and you can't remove it is because they put it behind a digital lock, and you are not allowed to circumvent that digital lock, right? The reason that you can't run these gaming servers on your own is because, again, they're copyrighted works put behind digital locks, so you're unable to keep these things going. With repair, it's very much of the same. The reason that a farmer can't fix their tractor, the reason that auto repairs in part have gotten so expensive is because the manufacturers of devices have a monopoly on the ability to produce comprehensive repair software. And repair software is really expensive. That can run thousands to tens of thousands of dollars subscription per year, depending on the product that you're working with. So there's that piece, right? If you're an independent fixer, independent mechanic who's trying to fix these things, that can add up over time. But it also has a big impact on just everyday consumers, right? And Grace, could you talk a little bit about those impacts?
Yeah, I mean, like you touched on, Kevin, it's expensive. Like getting your car repaired. We were in, is it Spokane? No, Vancouver, Washington. Someone was saying that it used to cost $3 to fix a car headlight, and now it's like $1,200 because of the parts pairing and having to match the entire headlight compartment with the rest of the car. Like these locks are making it really difficult and really expensive for consumers. Not only that, it's making it really expensive for the independent repairers. Even though people it's like 70% of people prefer independent repair shops, roughly 2/3 of independent repair shops can't complete all of the repairs that come through their doors because of the digital locks and the monopolistic practices that these manufacturers have on the automobile industry. I was just talking to a guy in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, where we're going next week. He runs an auto repair and salvage yard. He said he told me he pays more than $23,000 a year for a diagnostic tool for Ram trucks, and he can't fix trucks that are made past 2019 because that tool does not apply for all of the newer trucks, which is just like he's a small independent repair shop in kind of a random place in Wisconsin. It's like you're not going to pay that much money. So he's like, yeah, I have these people coming in. They have a truck that's over $100,000. It's a couple years old. I can't do anything to help them.
And, I think that's one example of digital locks being used to put up toll booths, right? Every step of the way, they can establish a toll booth to collect rent, to collect a fee, to do all these things. And so I think cars are an important example, even for household electronics, right? The average American household, I think, has something like 20 electronics in it. If we were able to fix rather than replace those, American families could save $382 per family per year, which comes out to about $50 billion annually if you look at all American households. So that's in a moment where affordability is the number one kind of issue on a lot of voters' minds. Repair and the right to repair are really important aspects of that. Go ahead.
My doorknobs broke recently digitally. So at our office, we have 15 doorknobs that were $750 each.
Goodness gracious.
Because they're access control doorknobs. And they're specifically offline access control doorknobs. So that's it's local to our office. And I bought it because of this. And so basically to add or remove users to the door, there's an app. And the app no longer works. It was forcefully updated. I open it. It just basically says it does, we don't support it anymore. And so I called the company, and the company rep explained to me that they didn't want to continue paying to maintain the app development, which was done by a third party, because the doorknobs are now 6 or 7 years old or something like that, and 5 years old. And so this is beyond the age at which they want to continue supporting my $750 doorknob.
Goodness gracious.
I heard a small violin start playing in my head as soon as you said, and there's an app. Yeah. Did anybody else just here start hearing the tiny violin?
Yeah, and that was how I felt too. But there's no other option.
It's funny, expiration dates on doorknobs. I didn't know that was a thing. And thermostats, right? We've got our Nest Bounty. There are all of these examples, which are really frustrating. I also want to bring in, we talked a little bit about the impact on farmers and on agriculture. We actually have a recording from Danny Wood, who's a farmer in Colorado, who, when we were at our Boulder stop, I had a chance to talk with him, worked closely in passing the nation's first and only agricultural right to repair law, but he's got a great story about how this has impacted him. So we're going to play this clip here.
My name's Danny Wood, and I live in a small town in northeast Colorado. It's called Pete's. We have a large dryland farm, and we raise winter wheat, prozone millet, dryland corn, and grain sorghum, which is milo. I am the District 1 Director for the Rocky Mountain Farmers Union, which is a 3-state organization of Wyoming, Colorado, and New Mexico. And my wife helps me and our son, and he has some of his own farming also. And the other issue we had, and I'm actually sitting in the field right by the tractors, Case IH Steiger 370, and it was a year old we'd bought it. And when I bought it, an older gentleman had it, and he didn't have all the guidance system and the performance monitor and all that in it. So I had him install all that. I think it was $23,000 or something like that to have that all installed, which it's all worth it when it's working. So we had it put in. Everything was working great. We went to plant corn with it that year, and it wouldn't control the fertilizer. It was supposed to do all that. Well, I called them back, or I was under the understanding it was supposed to. I called them, and they said, well, that's a feature that we have to unlock. All an unlock is it's you pay them a fee, and it's an electronic thing. They unlock the system, and it'll let it do that. So we did that, and it worked great that day. Well, the next day, my son went to use it, and it wouldn't control that again. So I called him, told him it's not working. They said, well, it'll be 3 days before we can get there. And when you're planting, you don't have 3 days to sit around and wait, because that's a critical time to get your crop in the ground. But we had no choice. We could not. We tried everything in the world, and we couldn't get it to work. So we had to wait for the 3 days. The technician showed up, crawled in the tractor, and said, that's what I figured. Well, I asked him what's wrong, and he said, it lost its code. It just was a 5-digit code. He said it lost that code. So he put that code back in, and everything worked fine. Well, I made sure that I took a picture of that code, so if it ever happened again, we could fix it ourselves. And then the worst thing about that is I had paid them, I think it was $1,100 or $1,200 to unlock that feature, and there should be some kind of warranty behind it. I mean, it was 2 days later. They sent me a bill for the service call for $900 to come put that code back in that tractor, which they could have done that. They could have told us over the phone, and we could have entered it, but. So it's just things like that. I know in the grand scheme of things, the $900 service call was not a big deal, but it is. $900 is $900. You add that up a few times through the years, and that adds up to a lot of money. And like I said, when you're paying them huge prices up front, they shouldn't be charging you to come back out because it lost its code. That's not on me. That's on their equipment. But I just think when you buy something and you own it, you should own it fully, not own like that tractor sitting right out here in the field. I should have known that piece of iron, but not the stuff that makes that iron run. When I bought that, I bought it as a unit that should run. Everything should work. And I believe in having to pay for the unlocks and everything to get everything to work. But you only have to pay once. You should not have to pay for them to come back out and enter digital code, because that digital code, when you bought that unlock, should be accessed to you. That should be your code. And you should have that forever. And that's why I took a picture of it. And we will always have that code. The kid wasn't very happy that I did it, but it's like, dude, this is my tractor, and I'm going to take a picture of that.
American hero right there.
I heard the small violin start playing when he said, it's great when it works.
Yeah, absolutely. So Danny's story, right, just shows you how this issue is in anything that's got a computer in it, anything that's got a chip in it, which these days is just about everything we use. So that's why, right, our focus at FULU right now, our federal legislative priority is called the Freedom to Fix Act, which y'all are going to be taking action on here soon. But the simple idea is that it shouldn't be a crime for him to be able to go in and figure out that code for himself after it shut down, right? He paid the $1,200 to unlock it. He should have control over it. He should be able to make it work himself. He shouldn't have to call AGCO, right, an AGCO rep to come out and enter that in. That's what the Freedom to Fix Act will change. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that here in a minute. But right, first of all, I just want to thank our panelists. So if we could have a round of applause for Steve and Grace. And then I'm going to hand it over to Louis to talk a little bit more. You want the chairs out? Yeah, let's take the chairs out.
All right. All right. So when talking about the thing that is the problem, I figured it would be useful to start with the word that we're looking at. And the word is ownership. The classic definition from the 14th century is to acquire in exchange for money or an equivalent. The act of obtaining something in exchange for payment. That is the 14th century definition. This is the 21st century definition. As of December 31st, 2023, due to our content licensing arrangements, you will no longer be able to watch any of your previously purchased, not streamed, not rented, purchased content. And the content will be removed from your video library. We sincerely thank you for your continued support. They actually did this again a few years later. And my favorite part of this content announcement, as of September 1st, 2026, you will no longer be able to watch your previously purchased content. Thank you. PlayStation has no limits, except for when we're taking away access to what you bought and paid for. How many people here use remote start in their car? How many people would want to use it if it required paying for a subscription? This law was used when some kids made an integration for Home Assistant. It's an open source program I use for everything from utilizing my air conditioner, my security cameras. And they made one that allows you to remote start your car, adjust the air conditioning, see the fuel or the charge in it. And they got a complaint. Are you authorized to act on behalf of the copyright holder? Yes, and they are submitting a claim. And this happened at the exact same time that Mazda was requiring a subscription to use remote start on your car. Every now and then the DMCA gets something right. Kidding. This was also used, this law also got used when I used about, 90 seconds of a clip of the president talking in a video. And how long did it take for you to get the video back?
14 days.
It sounds like a fair process to me. Lifetime, another word that used to have a meaning. The 14th century definition is the duration of a person or animal's life. The 21st century definition is when you pay the extra $50 to get the lifetime license, typically means 5 years of online access and downloads to a supported device. Not even 5 years, typically means 5 years. This is an issue with books. You used to be able to buy a book and you owned it forever. Then you could download a book, but it would have digital rights management, so you could only use it on certain devices. And now you can't even download a copy of your book. This has become a problem because, ironically, on Amazon.com, of all the books to do this to, people who had bought 1984 on Amazon.com actually had it removed from their library. And there were other books where they were editing the copies. So they weren't saying, we don't like this edition of the book, we're going to make a 6th edition of it. If you had the 5th edition, the words that were in your 5th edition would actually change. They've also sold books that did not have digital rights management on them, that claimed and were sold for not having DRM on them, that ended up having DRM on them. How many people here have kids? How many people bought a baby monitor for when they had their kid? How much did you pay for it? About 20, 40 bucks? More? About like 100? If you spent $400 on it, would you expect that it was a one-time payment or a recurring payment? This is a $400 baby monitor, and you could probably hear the small violin start playing. It has a bunch of features on it, like environment sensors, sleep tracking, and analytics. And when somebody else took control of the company, why am I seeing this? My $400 baby monitor has previously locked free features behind a subscription. If you click why are you seeing this, you'll see the entire message from the CEO, and now I have to pay $10 per month to get access to it. At this point, digital locks are even a matter when it comes to catching the bus. If you have a wheelchair and you have multiple sclerosis, and your old wheelchair went 8 kilometers an hour, and your new one is going to go 5 to 6 kilometers an hour, and you can pay money to unlock the ability to go 8 kilometers an hour. Now, this hero over here with multiple sclerosis figured out how to hack their wheelchair so that they would be able to catch the bus, because the idea of paying $100 or $200 to be able to catch the bus was insulting. And luckily, when it comes to them, they're in Europe, so what they did is not illegal. But in the United States, that, if she shows other people how to do it, that is a federal crime. How many people here think that it is essential that your leakage or pipe burst sensors continue working? This is an essential function. We're not talking about, I'm not saying video games are not important. I'm not talking about a video game or a smart thermostat. This is the thing that's going to be able to let you know when you're on vacation, has a pipe exploded in my 100-year-old home? They said that these would work until December of 2027. They sent out an email that for many people went to spam, as many know. How many people here have had a no-reply email go to spam before? Yeah, so they're saying we're shifting focus. This is going to stop working in, I believe, August of 2026 instead of December of 2027. BMW had at one point said, you can do whatever you want by yourself. To say I'm selling the screen to play a commercial, I don't see it. It is a private space. A year and a half later, look, it's a cool Spider-Man ad inside the car. It's a special offer. The point at which it reached just too ridiculous for us was a company that makes smart thermostats and other devices like this went bankrupt, and after going bankrupt, they decided to turn this particular device into a subscription. If you wanted the same features to work that did before, it was $117 a year to be able to get access to your thermostat. So I remember about 11 or 10 years ago, I was doing a lot of videos on how to fix Apple products. That's Kilpatrick and Townsend calling right now. And one of their law firms called and said they don't like that I have these schematics on screen where I'm showing you how everything works. And they kind of had me dead to rights because it says right over here, the information contained herein is the proprietary property of Apple. Please maintain this document in confidence. Don't reproduce it. Don't reveal it. Don't publish it, which is putting it on a 1 million subscriber YouTube channel is likely breaking this. And I had a lawyer at the time tell me, listen, you're really lucky, Louis. It doesn't seem like they want to sue you. They just want you to take the video down. It seems like they even like your work. They said they like your videos. I don't believe that. But I kept the videos up because I saw that hundreds of thousands of people were making things work again. People were fixing things that they otherwise wouldn't have fixed before. People were starting their own careers and starting their own businesses doing this. So I figured if I'm doing the right thing, I'll keep it up and I will figure out how things fall. And maybe the law will eventually start to catch up with it. So I told my lawyer, thank you for your time. I'm not going to be utilizing your services anymore. I'm not going to be keeping the video up. He thought I was insane. 10 years later, every single one of these videos is still up. Now, I realize that your average everyday person, how many people here find it fun when they get a cease and desist or that they're getting sued? 2 people. Most people need a little push to get excited about doing this type of stuff. So we put out a bounty that if you crack this firmware so that it works again, you'll get $5,000. And the CEO of the company said, thank you very much, never mind, we're actually going to get rid of this. No, he didn't. He said, this is considered illegal hacking. So what is it called? There's a word that starts with an R when your software stops working and somebody wants money to make it work. Ransomware. So when they send out ransomware, that's a business model. But when we show you, here's how to make your product that used to work in the way that it did when you bought it, that is illegal hacking. Now, luckily, in the country that they're in, this is not illegal hacking. And one of the ex-employees, I believe, who was so aggravated at this, came out with a jailbreak and published it for everybody to see. However, in the United States, because he made it available and because he showed other people how to do it, and because he did that in exchange for money, that could be 3 to 5 years in federal prison. After that bounty came out, we started doing this more often, and we got known as the group that's paying bounties to repair broken devices. And one of those was the Nest thermostat. How many people here have a Nest thermostat or know somebody with a Nest? How many people? So when is it going to stop working? What's the expiration date? When Google decides. It's not written on the box, and that's one of the big problems, is that they don't tell you when it is going to stop working. So we came out with a bounty for about $14,772. And a great gentleman, I believe Cody Kosiemba, came out with a jailbreak on his website called No Longer Evil, poking fun at the slogan that Google took out around 2008 to 2011. And because he did that in exchange for money, that is a federal crime that could be punished by 3 to 5 years in federal prison if Google actually wanted the horrible PR that came from that. They technically could pursue him for this under the current federal law. Echelon, they make smart exercise equipment, and this exercise equipment allowed you to use it with any app of your choice. They eventually sent out a firmware update that only made it work with their app around the same time that they were introducing subscriptions and ads and all sorts of other fun stuff into the product. Now, somebody did come out with a solution to this after we released the bounty, but they didn't release it because he said, I was talking with my wife, we kind of want to have kids soon, and she was saying, I really don't want to be a single mom while you're in federal prison. So how about, he didn't release it, and I don't blame him for not releasing the solution. And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to create what I like to call a heads I win, tails you lose situation, where either A, people get back access to their products, and they're happy, and they understand how close they were to not having their thermostat, or their exercise equipment, or their drink, and they can kind of take some joy in it. Or they don't get access to it, but we get to point to this as a problem. Because when we talk about this, when we actually show up to legislatures, we'll usually hear something like this. Mm-hmm. Go, go, gadget trackball. You can do it.
My name is Samantha Kerschel, and I'm the Executive Director for TechNet. Respectfully, we are testifying in opposition to Senate Bill 5799 today. We believe this legislation is in search of a problem that does not exist.
Something that's resonated with me is something that you heard early on here, is this is legislation in search of a problem.
they're all reading off of the same script. And every time we bring this up, they say that this is a problem that doesn't exist. So what we'd like to do now is now we have this list of devices, and we can go up to them and say, are you willing to find that company that you represent and get them to sign an affidavit that says they are not going to use this law against somebody who unlocks your products? And if they say no, well then yes, it is a problem that does exist, unless you believe that somebody should go to prison for making a thermostat work again. And also, what I found over the years, would it surprise anybody here if the people that were reading these things didn't believe what they were saying? So this is from that same lobbyist. I'm experiencing phone issues. The phone is on, but the screen is black on our personal Twitter. I've tried everything. It's time for, and if you had clicked that 7 years ago, it would say, a new phone, wish I could find some place to fix it. Maybe there is a problem after all. Now, I'm biased. I'm a repair person. I like having freedom over what I bought and paid for, and I like unlocking my stuff. So maybe it just sounds like I'm just ranting against this law unfairly, I should say. So I figured I would play you what somebody who is the least biased here would say. The person who actually is responsible for writing and architecting this beautiful 30-year-old law. Bruce Lehman.
Unfortunately, at least in some areas, our policies haven't worked out too well. Our attempts at copyright control, at least thus far, have not been successful. But I don't just blame teenagers and college students. I really blame the moguls in the music industry, because had they been thinking about these business models when we were doing our work in 1994 in the Clinton administration, had they been developing effective online distribution models when the internet first came into business, had they been talking to Steve Case when AOL first started to become a big deal and really seriously developing an online business model, perhaps we would not be in the situation that we are. But the culture of that industry was such that, those people were concerned principally with, and their talents were developing talent, understanding public taste. They didn't know anything about distribution or technology or anything like that. Minions dealt with that. Well, their industry has paid the price. Hopefully there's not any, I won't be quoted in the U.S., but I'm afraid.
We're quoting him on it.
Afraid our Clinton administration policies didn't work out very well. Now, a lot of people accused me at the time of doing an end run around Congress and everybody else by negotiating these treaties and then coming back and saying, well, we have, because we submitted this to Congress before the treaties process was completed, then coming back and saying, well, now you have to do this, Congress, because we've agreed to a treaty. And I would say that they're probably right, that it was an end run and it was partly deliberate. And the final statute that comes out, was a guy who was the head of then the biggest record company in the world, Warner Records, and he was a very nice guy, and he wrote a book a few years later after he retired and confirmed what I always thought to be the case about record industry executives. Record industry executives are impresarios, and the most successful record industry executives I would characterize as 45-year-old man who can think like a 17-year-old girl and likes to hang out at 3 o'clock in the morning and do drugs with rock stars. And he basically admitted to all of that in his book that he wrote several years later. Unfortunately, that is not a mindset, a part of the brain that does very well at evolving new business models for highly complex technologies.
So at this point, he's admitted that they did an end run around Congress, meaning that they passed it even though everybody in Congress voted against it, that he went behind their back to do it, that the people who came up with this law don't understand business very well, that it hasn't worked very well, and that the people that this would benefit, the people who were pushing for this, don't understand business and are mostly junkies that spend their entire night doing drugs. If we're not able to get this law reformed 30 years after it passed, when the person who wrote the entire thing admits that it doesn't work and that he lied and cheated to get it passed, then maybe I really should just go back to working at that furniture store at Staten Island Mall in 2006. So what we're all asking you to do is help us try and reform this law by writing a postcard to your congressperson so that if people want to be able to make a game work again, if people want to be able to make a thermostat work again, if people want to be able to make the remote start in their car work properly, if there's a nerd out there that wants to do that, that he doesn't have to worry about getting one of these DMCA takedown notices and going to federal prison if he continues to make his code available. So thank you very much for listening, and I'm happy to take any of your questions and talk to any of y'all.
Thanks, Louis. So along those lines, at check-in, did everybody get a postcard? No. If you didn't get a postcard, raise your hand. One of our team will come around. You got a postcard and you got a label. So we're all going to be writing a letter to Representative Russell Fry today to encourage him to support the Freedom to Fix Act. And we've got some instructions up here. So some of the key things that you're going to do, right? The sticker with the label, that you peel off, you put it on the right side, and then everybody, that's the first piece here. Second of all, share why this issue is important to you, right? It's one thing to get a form email or a petition that I'm sure we've all done online, which are important, but when there's a handwritten note explaining why you care about this, that can be very helpful. Make sure to encourage Rep. Fry to support the Freedom to Fix Act, and then sign your postcard with your name and your address. That's important so he knows either A, you're a constituent, or B, you're in state or in the area. That helps a lot. So go ahead, take a minute, write that. When you're done with it, we've got a black box or a black little bin right on the merch table there. You can drop your postcard off there. We will put a stamp on it and put it in the mail. Also, yes, thank you, Steffi. Look at that. That's the box. That's the one. Also, if you got a raffle ticket, put it in there. We're going to do a raffle for a autographed poster by Lewis and Steve, and definitely not me because nobody wants that. And then after that, we'll just be hanging out. So say hi to Lewis, say hi to Steve, and hang out. But one other thing I do want to draw attention to before we're done is this postcard is what we can do today to advance this kind of DMCA reform. But when it comes to what's going to be done tomorrow, next month, next year, if you scan this QR code, we have Zulip, a Zulip server, which is like an open source Slack essentially, where we will be sharing more news. We will be talking about actions that you can take and keeping you up to date on what's going on. So please do, we'll leave this up throughout the evening so you can take a look. But we would love to see you in the Zulip. Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you all for being here. Thanks for taking action right now, and we'll be around. What's that? Oh, and then we've got food back here. Mini corn dogs, pretzel bites. Eat up. Enjoy. All right. Thanks, everybody.
So how reasonable is it to write to somebody who doesn't represent you?
The system? Yeah, I think that's right. You're not misrepresenting yourself. You're just saying, hey, as someone concerned about this issue, I hope you will do this. And I think that's right. You're not misrepresenting. I think also like hopefully it's you weren't governed by laws here, right? Yeah. Yeah. Cool. What was your name? My name's Artem. Artem? Yes. Nice to meet you. Yeah. Thanks for coming. I have a couple of questions. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Come say hi there.
What if I told you that if you have, so you know how some TVs have embedded microphones in them, and they have a microphone toggle, you can turn the microphone off. What if I told you when you turn the microphone off, I can actually exploit the TV to make it act as a listening device when the TV appears to be off, and yeah.
does not need to be there.
And the exploit is specifically linked to turning it off?
I do work in healthcare. I take patient phone calls from home.
Hospital with lots of money and an enterprise team and a compliance team, you probably go do these things. But if you're most like family practices or whatever, like the assistant goes out and buys a TV from Best Buy.
Or somebody taking a phone call. I take a phone call at my house. Right.
Yeah.
If my TV's listening in on that phone call, I mean, I can be as compliant as I can with HIPAA and the VPN that my employer mandates that I use. Not even getting into the VPN argument, but all of that is super important for privacy and for myself as a provider to be compliant with the law.
Yeah. So I think LG's defense will be that they would probably say that they are not actively listening through the microphone or something. One of the things we found though in our testing is that ACR is as far as I can recall right now, capable of also capturing the audio output through the TV's speakers, which is it's pretty concerning because if you have a conference call with the company and whatever the executives on the screen, or maybe you're interfacing with like a translator for healthcare.
We do video calls all the time.
Yeah, and so there's mechanisms that exist where that could be captured through ACR or something like ACR, even if it's not like technically the microphone, but it's the speakers, and you've got your patient or whoever on the screen. So
my healthcare provider has no way for me to opt out of AI being used for the entire process. And actually, did I tell you about how?
I think you did.
Looking over?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw them looking over because they wanted me to sign a form that said that I consent to AI being used throughout the process for recording the entire thing and data being stored for a portion. I said I'm not comfortable with this, so they had me not sign that. But that wasn't opting out of it. That was just okay. Well, we don't really have a path for this. And I was very surprised when I realized I shouldn't be saying surprised at this point. You actually don't have a path for it. There's just no way to opt out of it.
There should be, though. You can just write the note manually, right? A lot of the AI software that we use in clinic is just summarizing what we have, what we talked about, and putting it in our note. It's doing our note for us. Saves us a lot of time. Arguments can be said about where that data goes and who's looking at that and how it's protected with HIPAA. But if you don't opt in as a patient, you just write the note as a provider.
Here's my question.
By typing.
I have a voice to text on my keyboard, and I also use Whisper at home. It's absolutely amazing. I love using it. It's offline. Every now and then, if I don't say anything, I'll just get like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious or some really crazy shit. Like in my videos, I'll always say at the end, "Thanks for watching," and as always, I hope you learned something. And sometimes, if I don't say anything, in the voice to text, it'll say, "Thanks for watching." And that happens to me a lot.
Because it learned.
Yeah, and the main question is, how often does that happen? If you're transcribing me talking in the room, because I read about this woman that
all the time
was told that during the recording, it said that she had done mushrooms, which were, I imagine, highly illegal in the area in which this is being recorded, and she was very offended at that being included. and that changed the decisions that were being made by future doctors because they looked at the report and it's like, oh, this woman admitted that she does mushrooms. What the hell?
I have a question for you. You can say no to this, but if you'd be willing to go on camera just to say I'm concerned about it, like just talk about it, because that'd be for, we have this big LG thing coming up, and one of the points I raised is like, this is specifically concerning in medical environments, you know, and stuff like that. So, yeah, if you'd be down for that, that would be great. Yeah.
I'm John. So I applied for a job.
What can I do for you?
I applied for your content manager position.
Oh. You got it. Dyed red hair is fine.
I wasn't sure how to contact you. I sent it to your YouTube email address.
Wait, is this the one for Fulu or for me or for what?
For you.
Oh, yeah, I wound up going, using my personal trainer. I was going to wind up paying for this based on... Picture oh, hello.
Tom, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to wind up choosing to pay for it based on what Patreon members showed up, and then when I saw it was $1,000, I just said, I'm going to ask my personal trainer, are you willing to read my inbox for $1,000? But thank you for coming out.
Oh, thanks. No problem.
Hopefully I can turn that into a real job someday. Hello, pleasure to meet you.
Thanks, stuff, man. The only story I got is I worked for a health insurance company who used AI to use us as a training model. I worked for a health insurance company, and they used a chatbot. And they told us it was a customer, that it wasn't theirs. But they used it to train it on us, and then ended up replacing like over half the staff. So we did like healthcare insurance, like telling people like what their benefits would be, also doing like how much the bills are and if they're approved for certain things. It's pretty basic stuff, easy for AI to do. But we would have somebody that would call in, and they told us that was a customer, that it wasn't theirs, but it was their AI chatbot, and they were training it on their own people, so they ended up replacing us.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
I think it's one thing when you're training another person, because at the very least, I'm not saying it's right, when you're training somebody to do your job, you're just going to do it cheaper.
Yeah.
Steve, be careful of the camera. If you're training somebody else to do your job, it sucks, but at least somebody else gets to make half a living. Whereas here, you're just training a robot.
Yeah. So
that has to suck. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's for the best. I found better work, so.
Well, thank you for coming out.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Hello.
They say never meet your heroes, but fuck all that. Yeah. I work IT / at a hotel, so yeah. So I've been tinkering with computers since I was 12, but I have what I love to do is take old off-lease computers from like eBay and like fix those up and like sell them for a couple bucks here and there. But it's all the models I'm buying are like older and older because all the new stuff you can't really repair is good. Yeah. Thank you. And just on another note, it's funny, my ex, every time I'd watch your video, she would say, "Oh, you're watching the Angry Nerd with the kitties." And I just thought you'd find that funny. Yep. Thank you.
I'm Colleen.
Hello.
Are we on? Are we on?
I am my cameraman sometimes. Marshall! Where's my... I could use... Good enough.
I just wanted to let you know I've been with you from the very beginning. I found you on YouTube. You encouraged me to fix my own phone. I bought a battery, and I found a company I could change my screen, and it took me 2 hours. But I was following your channel on how you fix things with the iPhones. Wasn't an iPhone, but it took me 2 hours, but I did it, and I've been following you ever since. And I saw you were here, and I said, "Oh, I got to go say hi to Lewis. I've been watching you for years, so I'm so glad that you're fighting for us, and and I really got into it, like when the whole McDonald's thing. The ice cream machine. Yes, yes. That was like the censure, and I was like, because I've been at the window where you get angry because the machine is down again. So anyway, but I just want to let you know, thank you so much for what you're doing. You know, rock on, rock on. Oh, and we love your kitty cats.
Let's carry the camera. Sorry.
Legislative advocacy, but
I'll move it back here. I lost Marshall. A lot of people came out. Very cool. Look at how many people came out. This is pretty cool. Oh. And that's Steve. Oh.
Keep it up. Been watching you for a long time, man.
Thank you.
Probably since, God, I got a link off Dave Jones's site to
I like this forum. I remember the first thread about me on that forum was saying that I use way too much fluff. And it's like, there is no such thing. There's too much fluff.
Yeah, keep up the fight, man.
I lost my camera. I'll find Marshall at some point. Yeah, I remember people were saying I use too much flux, but there's no such thing as too much flux. You can't use too much flux. It's impossible.
Yeah, I think I was going down the soldering rabbit hole when I jumped on your forum, or jumped on your page and subscribed to your channel. So, but it's been a long time, probably 5, 6, 7 years. I don't know how long exactly, but.
I remember when I first started doing this, I really never thought that there was all these problems that you're talking about. It was just, why can't I buy a chip to fix it afterwards?
Yeah,
And
well,
now it's kind of like spread to the entire world.
keep up the fight, man. There's a lot of us that can't. We don't have the resources to go and do it all the time.
Well, I tried. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you for coming to Myrtle Beach.
Hello.
Long time viewer, first time in person. So,
Oh, well. I'll try later.
yeah, so I guess the one thing I really want to say is I think this movement is really starting to catch on. So, personal anecdote. I actually have family that lives up here, so I came up to visit them, and it just happened to be that this was occurring at the same time. And since my grandparents are retired and oftentimes need help with a lot of household chores, they asked me to replace the filter in their refrigerator. Now, they didn't know, but they had purchased a GE after their fridge of about 15 years had died on them. So I pull out, look up the filter, and I realize, wait, the filter's $50 everywhere, right? Like Amazon has it for $50, Home Depot, Lowe's, and that's because their fridge had a microchip in the filter that if you had any other filter, like I bought one that was identical, fit in, slotted in just fine, would not dispense water unless you had the $50 microchip filter. And I think really for a lot of normal people, that's the way they get exposed to this type of movement. So I think ultimately this is going to catch on a lot more as people start to buy products and then kind of get burned on it, get angry, and then start looking things up. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out. CRM and a water filter. Digital rights management inside of a water filter. That is 2026. Hello.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you in person.
Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, listen, may I say a couple of words off the record? Off the record, couple of words, if you don't mind.
I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
May I say a couple of words off the record?
If I have a camera,
You can cut it.
one sec. I have to figure out how to mute everything. One sec.
What's going on?
I was flagging you over as a cameraman. But then he wanted to be off camera for the interview as you showed up, which was funny. Sure. So. Yep. All right.
It's good to meet you.
Pleasure.
Is it okay if I get a picture?
Yes.
Yes. We were freaking out when we heard you were coming to Myrtle Beach.
It's the cat.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. They don't care.
Coming and see us here in Myrtle Beach.
Thank you for coming out.
Oh, I had a great time, and like I said, I'm a big fan of your channel, and I definitely believe in what you guys are doing too. So I have, there hasn't been a part of my life that hasn't been affected by the stuff that you were talking about up here today. My brother works in ag tech. My grandfather and my uncle had an auto shop for many years. My uncle ended up retiring and just selling the business because he couldn't deal with modern cars anymore and what's going on with them. He would have to buy a new software package every year to be able to keep up with stuff. And we're talking about like, oh, they can't just send a patch to the computer to for a software. It's like, nope, you got to buy the whole package again every year. And you're talking about hundreds, if not thousands of dollars from each company. It's horrible. And I work in television production. I've got Photoshop. I've got all kinds of creative software on my system. I'm paying $20 a month for a piece of software that used to be $500 for a lifetime license years ago. It's just slow little accretions.
Yeah, really, looking back on it 14 years later, I just wanted to be able to buy a 200 Mac to get a screen, and I didn't realize that. I always used to say, look at all these other industries, you can see how things are actually like, what they're supposed to be like. I didn't realize that everything would wind up becoming worse with a MacBook. I was hoping that the industry that I was working in would become similar to other things, but as I realized this time around, everything is going in this direction.
I mean, Dungeons & Dragons has microtransactions now. that says a lot. Oh, thank you very much. And maybe one day I'll end up moving to Austin like I had originally planned to, and it fell through. I'm originally from South Georgia, but I live here. But I had almost moved to Austin a couple years ago. I had a job offer on the table, and then it fell through. But yeah, that's kind of my dream, is to get somewhere where I can be a little bit more among my people. Thank you very much.
Matthew moved down from Michigan. In the 90s, we had a lot of...
So, I work for the local college over here. So I do repairs. I do IT help desk and repairs. And we do run into a lot of issues with like vendors, so Dell and Apple, where they required, over the years, they've required more and more proof of like damage or issues to go through their warranty processes. And it gets to the point where you start having to like damage the products even more. So you're creating e-waste to get something fixed.
So Apple used to not cover a certain device if it was the ones with the bad GPUs.
Yep.
They would run a piece of software on it. You know the MacBooks that were involved in a dying graphics chip?
Mm-hmm.
When you would take it to Apple, it would have to fail their test. Their test would pass on a fucking 486 running Windows 3.1. It was bullshit.
Yeah.
So a lot of people would say, I went to Apple to get it done for free, and they wouldn't do it because they said it worked.
Yeah.
Streaming, so I can't go into detail. But there's a certain frame buffer line that if it gets 20 volts for 0.02 amps for a very quick period of time, mimics perfectly the GPU without killing the machine. And it frustrates me because it's annoying that I know exactly what you're talking about. And I know many other companies where people have to deal with crap like that in order for customers to be able to get the warranty experience they should be.
Yep.
But I'm proud of my decisions because instead of take that customer's $3 to $25, I made sure that somebody who was eligible for the warranty program would show under their software that they were eligible for the warranty program when they left my store.
Yeah.
And I hear where you're coming from.
That's what we try to do. I mean, some of the students, it is their fault. But like the ones that isn't, like we don't want to charge them.
How are you killing it? It's a machine advertised for video editing, and you use it for video editing.
No, exactly.
It's not their fault to have a fucking fan that stays at 1500 RPM while the machine goes 100 Celsius for 10 minutes.
And then if you try to buy third party, we either most likely get yelled at because, oh, we have a deal with Dell.
It's frustrating. How often do you see something that you know how to do the right thing, but you're not able to do the right thing because of a silly rule like that?
Oh, all the time.
How do you not get demoralized?
It's hard. I mean, I'd argue I might be demoralized. But
You're here, you're smiling.
that's true. Sometimes you gotta laugh through it. Yeah, thank you.
This is going to be more interesting when there's 300 people.
Woo! It's going to be, something else.
For that one, I'm going to want to focus as much on the live stream camera as I move around as possible. But that's...
So with the last second stuff, knowing that I'm going to have to be there.
Somebody was unhappy that I cursed in my videos because he watches them in speech. And I'm like, do you need... I kind of... how much I can do.
I mean, for that sort of thing, I think...
Hello.
Just want to say, as a customer and a fan,
No way.
it's nice to meet you. Yeah,
What did you send in? Did we fix it or did we screw it up?
fixed everything.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to turn the camera.
Yeah, right. So, basically what we do, because of like the whole advanced data recovery stuff, don't want the beer in here.
It's all right.
Sorry about
You're getting
that.
an Uber home.
So,
You're fine.
I am the Uber. No, I'm not. So I'm just kidding. No, in all seriousness, we utilize you for data recovery and have had zero issues, totally awesome customer service. So just wanted to say thanks. Yeah. All right.
Why do I have the wireless transmitter on the opposite side of the room? That doesn't... I hope... I'll move next to Steve. I'm going to bring the camera over there.
I just balanced his head, and that's one of the reasons why I balanced the head, so that if it's going to fall, it doesn't like slump
Thank you.
forward.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was moving there while I was being my own cameraman. I'm going to walk over there.
Chat with for the video?
Huh?
Are you needing more people to chat
Yeah,
with
sure.
for the video?
Just walking.
Okay.
Anybody who wants
I'll
to talk.
volunteer.
I was...
All right.
Hello. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. So my name's Robert, and I'm here because initially as a technology person, I found folks like you and some of the other folks here like online, but then in terms of like a personal note, I have grandparents that were farmers for most of their lives, and also have a father and a sister that had multiple sclerosis. I also have 3 younger kids, and I'm trying to think about their future as well. And so a lot of these issues with being able to repair your stuff, and the broader enshittification concerns that we all have, that's impacting regular folks, their ability to have a fulfilling and happy life. And so if we just talk about video games, for example, like we were saying earlier tonight, that's probably not going to resonate with a lot of folks. But the more we're able to communicate the broader swath of people this impacts and how their day-to-day lives are worse and worse for it over time, I think we could really bring about some lasting change that makes everybody's lives a lot better. So thank you so much for what you're doing. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for helping with
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
Hopefully it won't be illegal for any of the people you know to make their wheelchair go a little bit faster.
Exactly.
Catching the bus is not working.
All right. Thanks again.
I'm going to bring the camera over there, Marshall, so I don't risk the wireless thing going out, and I can be next to Steve while he works. You look like an EMT. How useful is that? Yeah.
It's a lot easier to carry like the camera. Kind of like what it's on by.
Which camera is that? ZV-1?
A7R5.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pretty.
We got full frame as well.
Do you keep the active image stabilization on that has the crop, or do you just rely on holding it steady with that?
No, this not stabilizing.
Okay.
So the Steadicam, they also sell that, but it's got like ginormous springs on the back, and that's what actually makes it play around.
The newer Sony stuff is really good, almost GoPro-like active image stabilization.
This is great. We run active stabilization. It does crop a little, but
You jump up and down with that, and it works.
to some extent, it's like it's got a limit, but it's pretty impressive.
Where do you want that?
Somebody was mad that I curse in my videos.
Oh. Sometimes that happens.
He's asking me about my horse saddle.
I like the horse saddle. I think I've got what I'm going to get, actually.
Investigation, documentary stream, but all of my homies saw that one. Appreciating
Actually, food.
Your personal trainer knows what you're doing.
Pleasure to meet you. Thanks for everything you're doing. I wanted to come and say thank you myself. I'm a longtime follower, and I watch basically all your videos. My wife, she always knows you as the cat guy because you have Blackberry sitting there on all your videos. So it's really cool that you're going out and doing this like grassroots thing. I was talking to Steve earlier about my concerns with healthcare and privacy and all of that stuff. So, I wanted to hear your perspective about the AI tools in clinic and where you stand on that and how people can be more clear. Myself as a provider, how I can be more clear about how that's being used and answer questions.
The problem that I have is not what I it's kind of like the data center thing. I'm not anti-data center.
Yeah.
I'm anti-putting a data center where you said that you were going to put a park for an old man who didn't have a break.
And you can't opt out.
I'm not against
Yeah.
that. I'm against you having this in the form. When I want to call you to ask if I can not consent to it, I'm on hold for 20 minutes, and then I get hung up on 2 times in a row.
So that's what happened?
Yeah. And I got hung up on twice in a row after waiting a whole 15 to 20 minutes. Then I go to the clinic and I say, I don't want to use this. And they're like, okay, 1 second, let me see about that. And while she was trying to figure out if that's allowed, somebody says, oh, you're ready for your appointment now. And then when they come back out, she's like, okay, now you have to sign it. I just told you I didn't want to sign that.
Interesting.
There was no real method. They've never had somebody walk in there and say, I would like to opt out of this. I feel like I'm the first person.
I've never had it. Yeah.
I feel like a dick because I'm the person that's dealing with this has also never read this before because that person who's the front desk clerk probably gets paid 17, 20 bucks.
What did what did the provider say?
She came out and she stared at the screen and she had the look that my employees do when they have fucked something up horribly and they need me to get them out of it. Or they need Steve to get them out of it because he's better at it than I am.
Yeah.
I know that look. That's the look of I accidentally deleted somebody's data, we don't have a backup. I hope to God they don't need it. And I know that look.
Yeah.
I've been on the other end of it. So she's like, oh, it doesn't look like in your session is I know that look. You're making it up as you're telling me.
Yeah.
And I have no way to prove it. It's just kind of
So I think that, as these AI tools get used more and permeate into healthcare, I think that stories like that is super important because, for me now hearing that story, I'm prepared. If somebody says no in clinic, I say, okay, I'm just going to type while we speak like the old days. That's yeah.
AI transcription. I use voice to text on my phone and I love it. But sometimes I forget to untap the microphone. And when I forget to untap it, I start speaking. I said shit I didn't say.
Right.
So it thinks that I said something along the lines of, like, thank you for watching. When I use voice to text, if I forget to untap it, as it's listening to nothing, it'll hallucinate shit that it thinks I said.
Yeah.
And now, to not have to type into a phone, it's worth it.
Right.
So if I'm dealing with somebody who has to deal with 30 or 40 patients a day, I don't want it in there saying that I do mushrooms or something because it hallucinated.
Right.
Being on my record and me potentially being denied and treatment medication because you think I said something I never said. I don't want to make their life harder, but at the same time, I just don't want to deal with that either.
Totally reasonable, yeah.
The tool so much as the fact that this entire thing was put together so that there's no way for me to actually opt out of this.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like the shock. Like it's advancing faster than we can really even keep up with it. And so I think it's important. Like what you do is so important to make sure that these stories are out there so people are aware of them. People.
That don't want to screw with something.
Oh yeah.
Your average doctor just wants to make people's lives better and then be able to go home and pay their bills. And I understand.
Yes.
I feel
Accurate.
bad, and I hate being on the other end of it because I hate being a customer. When I look at your face and I know that I've been there, I've been you.
Yeah.
And so I really don't like doing that. And I also realize if I'm not going to do it, then nobody else will.
No, but I think it's important that you do that though, because then the next person that comes in and says, I don't really want to use the AI transcription for whatever reason, we have a protocol for it. The clinic staff knows how to deal with that. I know how to anticipate that, and so I think that those stories are particularly important. And it's not that you're being, complicated. It's that you're setting a precedent for the next person that doesn't want to have AI in transcribing their notes, which I think is important. It's something to think about too.
Because I know that the people that are that say the same thing I say, they're also going to be Venn diagram overlaps with the people that thought in 1990 that the computer is listening to.
Yeah. Right.
At one point, the people who said the things we did were crazy. In 2001, when Alex Jones said that your TV is fine when you're recording it.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Back then, that's crazy. In 2021, it just means you read the terms of service.
Right. And so, how does that come into play when I'm having private conversations that are protected by HIPAA, by law? There's a huge law about it that I can't share that data outside of the patient interaction. Lawyer, client privilege, all of those things kind of go out the door if somebody else, LG, is listening in on every single conversation. It's not a tinfoil hat. This thing is happening. You can see it happening. No, I'm going to look that up because, that sounds exactly like something an AI would hallucinate. Exactly.
I have a choice of what I'm going to do
Right, right.
I know that if somebody's like you have to see 20 patients or 30 patients in a day, I don't expect you to have the time to do that.
Well, it's a good tool because honestly, that's what I use it as. It's just a transcriber, and then I go back through all the notes, and you're supposed to look through everything, and I'm ultimately responsible.
I don't know, but somebody who doesn't know me is not going to know that I can say that.
Right. Exactly. I mean, yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. I will. I'll keep following. And if you guys need anything, I'm in the Charlotte area. So if you ever need a surgeon in the Charlotte area, I'll be around. Yeah. I am. Cool. Appreciate it.
Now to go harass. And
Better than being in a cubicle.
this is kind of like the video production version of a cubicle. Like, think about it. If you think this is the closest thing you could get to Office Space, but for video people. He can't escape. Like, try to walk away from the camera. Run as fast as you can. He can't get away from work. I'm gonna get one of these for when I go to like legislative hearings by myself.
Do the one that's tabulated.
You think it's worth it?
That looks more dangerous.
Dangerous or?
Yeah. What the big springs, the shocks at the back. Is
Oh yeah, I definitely gonna need a press pass for that one. That looks like this looks like a gun from the 1910s, or like an old school car. I love the little wood thing. Hello, Marie.
Hello. No, thank you. No, thank you.
I would love to sign one if I get the chance to.
Will you sign a poster with?
If you let me buy a raffle ticket.
Are you okay with a pen or do you need a marker? Would you prefer a marker? And sometimes it's been the tour around.
I want to tell Clinton when I get back.
Still streaming?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm streaming just so you know. Nice.
What's your PIN number to your bank account?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, did you have you ever heard that question where they ask you like, what is your porn star name, and it's supposed to be the street
That's
you
a
grew up on,
security
the street
question.
you grew up on, and your first pet. That doesn't work for me because I always, every time there's a stupid question like that, I always put something like a bunch of random letters and numbers. Because like Chase Bank, they require you to use what is the color of your first car. So my color of my first car is lowercase g, £! Exclamation point.
We've gotten like, what's your favorite pizza topping and stuff like that? Because that'll be a bank security question too. And yeah, it's phishing has gotten pretty sneaky.
But it kind of works though.
It has. And you have so many people that have public social media that once that gets posted up, you're hanging it up. You're in trouble. Thank you. I debated on whether I was going to be too fanboy or not, or that's it's my favorite shirt you guys have done.
It's Andrew threw that design together really fast, and that's probably one of the only ones where if I'm just like out and there's someone, just some random person, where I'll get compliments on it. No, not because of GM.
Can you imagine me squatting through the coffee shop in Atlanta with that easy rig on, with that scorpion tail? I've been braining everybody as I
That thing, it is handy. I'm kind of jealous. I'm gonna get my.
It's great for the back, but like I don't like having that kind of a permanent extension for me. Like even this can get cumbersome, and I can even change the height of that.
I would much prefer that to carrying a tripod around if I'm going to a hearing or something.
Oh yeah.
But like,
there's a company that was it's called Ergo Rig, and it was actually made by a camera op, and it's the same idea. It's just all like it's a central harness here, and then it has like a little pole with a rubber band that just goes off the shoulder. So there's no, that's Easy Rig.
What is this?
This is my home server.
This is what?
This is my home server, which is it's a part of my home server. It's modular.
It looks like a modern Texas house construction.
No, actually, it is. I'm from Russia, and this is how Soviet panel builders look like. So thank you. I had some like full-size hardware laying around. I want to do a server, and I want to run protein folding simulations on it for like folding at home. So I'm like, okay, this is my wife's hardware, and then I knew that I wanted to upgrade my own computer at some point in the future. So I'm like, I'm gonna do a modular one so that I can stack one on top of the other on top of the other, so that I can spend in the future. So what's a modular thing that reminds me of home? Soviet buildings. So there are guys called Boron, spelled with a V. I think they do all sorts of open source 3D printing. Yes, exactly. Oh, cool. Yeah. This is based off of what they have for like a DIY PC case. Like all the, maybe not the joints, but all of the measurements for the motherboard mounts and whatnot. It's from them, and then I modified that, and then I created those panels, printed them. If I knew I was going to be on camera, I would have dusted it a little bit. But that's
Okay, I'm gonna dust it.
that's the whole point. Like you can stack it on top of one, on top of one, and it'll just go up. And this is actually just running the protein folding simulations. Oh no, you're good. And but the other server actually has 3 HDD drives in it, which are located underneath the power supply. So I had to really make sure that everything fit together well, and that I would have the space for GPUs and whatnot. So it was a very fun project. Yeah, as you can see, I ran out of filament over here.
Steve, you like my duster? You said you didn't dust this PC.
It's a very expensive duster.
Thank you for showing me.
Oh, thank you.
Let me.
Pleasure meeting you, sir.
Lou, if you're hoping to get a picture, I don't know if we can get Steve as well, but if you can. Yeah.
Sure.
Let's give it just a second. Louis, how many autographs have you given before the tour?
Before the tour,
Before the tour.
like 1,000 or 2.
Oh, really? Okay, awesome.
Does that thing look like a cubicle for camera people?
It does. It does. Let's squeeze in real quick. Steve, can I get you for a picture real quick? Sure. Awesome. And he was like, well, just because we want to hear it doesn't mean we have to keep it. Did I ask you to take a picture of this? Is that too much?
You need another one for the phone. Another wired cubicle. I like how the lens is an armrest.
Yeah, I mean, when he doesn't have a sandwich attached there, it's not a camera.
For a long time. Appreciate it. And,
I like the stuff you've done where you've gone over to China with the NVIDIA thing and putting their, I guess, their hand in the fire.
GPU black market video, yeah. Yeah, well, NVIDIA keeps commenting on it. You know, it's the... Jensen keeps saying there's no evidence of chip diversion. Sure seems like there's a lot of evidence.
It's actually recover.
Like, as in hardware prices?
The memory pricing is ridiculous right now.
If you trust the publicly traded companies whose stock price depends on demand being infinite forever, then 2028 or later. If for some reason you don't trust them, which would be crazy, then I would think the best we get is as soon as someone falters in the AI bubble, like if OpenAI goes under or Oracle collapses, then you probably see it come down.
To me, the whole battle right now with the open weights models that are coming out coming out from China, even like this last Friday, I think Quen was released, but how those models keep the American companies kind of honest. I mean, it's scary, but there could be legislation that actually prevents us from having access to open weight models, and them having, basically where you have to pay the man. Yeah.
Here are the files, and it's the company that's about ownership that says, hey, you guys connect to our server and have our approval, and you can rent use of the model from now until the end.
I mean,
it's very, it's
Banning, we ban a lot of hardware that's competitive. That's the default response.
You're forcing China to figure out how to make things work with their own hardware, and then once they have everything working on their hardware and their stack, they'll use. Why is Windows 7 being used in a Smith stack? They were using Windows 7 in a Swiss fucking train station, and it had an error on the screen from a security thing. It was a CVE.
Oh, I saw that.
2014.
I saw that.
Now, that's disgusting, but you have to think about it. How is it that an American company is so prevalent that in a fucking Swiss train system, they have a lot of money in Switzerland, and they're using Windows for it? It's because it's become the default. So we're encouraging every other country in the world to start using other people's hardware stacks as the default. And once they are the default, what's going to happen to the outcome? Nobody's going to give a shit.
No, yeah.
It's interesting, just the whole China versus the USA with how the American companies are not releasing any of. I mean, I guess Meta did release a model a couple weeks ago, but it's drastically inferior to what the Chinese released for free.
I genuinely don't. I can understand for open AI. I never really understand for Anthropic. There's coding AI for Google because of search results. What the fuck is Meta doing, dropping tens of billions of dollars into making models? Like, how does using Facebook and having an ad network?
Have you heard of the metaverse? Because
but I've never tried it. And
they
I've
do.
never seen somebody in this.
They do have a history of dropping tens of billions of dollars into things that they just kill. So I don't know.
I don't even understand the argument.
I think Mark Zuckerberg has this is me psychoanalyzing a man I've never met and who I know very little about, but I think Mark Zuckerberg probably has a deep-seated fear of not adapting, just like MySpace didn't adapt, and just disappearing one day. So.
You see how with the WhatsApp trial they determined that it wasn't anti-competitive and that he bought it right as it was becoming popular and surpassing Facebook in users.
Yeah.
It's not right as it was surpassing Facebook Messenger and users. WhatsApp got purchased. It's not anti-competitive. It's not a competitor.
Right.
Not a competitor.
Yeah, I watched the video you two did with the quad cameras in Raleigh, or in Apex, right?
I love watching people go in this script and say, this is way better. It looks like people are feeling when you're about to do a video, about to record something, and something shows up. I don't need it.
It was definitely, I had the behind the scenes for that was, I had a fully prepared 3-minute script. I'd spent probably 2 hours test reading it, where I was like, okay, I can get this down to exactly 3 minutes, because that's all they give you.
Yeah.
And then they started talking about, they gave openings to talk about security vulnerabilities in the town itself. The sign-up form was vulnerable. You could double-click it and get everyone's information, anyone who'd ever typed anything. And it seemed like that clicked a little better with the town, and I guess I hope that that's what we see.
Instead of it seeing it like
That's true.
Because if you're within this culture, thank you for showing the security vulnerability. I appreciate that. If you're outside this culture, fuck you, you found something wrong with my shit. You an asshole.
Those guys were oblivious. Everybody on that console was oblivious to that. They had no idea.
One dude I wanted to interview that I didn't get a chance to, who's against all this. He used to be a programmer. I think he still is a programmer. And he votes against all this crap. It's just a minority.
They close up at 8, so we don't want to keep them too much later than that. And third of all, there's a bunch of food left over and some to-go boxes. So if you want some, please take some with you. Lewis, do you want to do the honors? Who we got?
Aaron.
Aaron. Hey, oh, there we go. Autograph poster. All right.
Wait, before you win, you need to see your ID and make sure this is you.
Can I opt out?
No.
What? There is no terms.
No!
There is no terms.
We have made the terms.
Yeah.
Yes.
I did it. Perfect. Yeah. I was just joking by the opt-out thing.
Awesome. Quick little pic.
Sure. How can I help you?
Take a pic with the winner of the poster.
I take the picture or you take the picture?
I'll take it.
Oh.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Again. Oh, yeah, sure. So this is your DIY. This is your home server?
Yes, it is.
Cool.
It's the top part for now, but
He brought this all the way out here, the least I could do. So,
it's the freaking least the motherboard standoffs and all the measurements from guys called Boron.
How do you feel about talking for a couple minutes?
That's a happy fly.
Look at how happy that fly is.
Good for him. Good for him.
Just want to say thanks.
Oh, pleasure to meet you. Hands all sweaty.
Nah, you're all good. Appreciate everything you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. My buddies are thinking about going to Roanoke. Yeah.
I was hoping to get the ex-congressman Rick.
I was asking them about it. He said you hadn't heard anything.
He's in his 80s. I don't
Yeah.
know if he's watching YouTube and like logging into his LinkedIn and checking his inbox. But if somebody knows him, that would be so cool.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks. Have a good one.
Was he at a previous event, the one in the camp over there in the gray polo? He looks dangerous looking though. Was the person in the gray shirt and the cap over there at a previous event? He looks very familiar.
I know he's a major fan of yours and has been watching you.
Oh, okay. I'll go over that. I also saw somebody on ESPN on the TV that I've seen on one of my favorite Cologne channels.
Oh, really? Here, that's cool.
All right.
What made you want to?
Hello.
Oh, Mr. Rossman.
Pleasure to meet you, my friend.
Michael.
Thanks for coming
Big
out.
fan, big fan. You and Steve both.
Awesome. What do you do?
Well, I was a cloud architect for Salesforce, but I'm semi-retired right now. So moved down here about 3 years ago. Yeah, you know, I've just been in IT for 30 years, and you know, even though I've always been a little more towards pro-business, you know, all of what we're seeing is very concerning. I mean, you talk about, there's great examples that you guys gave, but I know one of the things that I bumped into was like marine engines. Marine engines, they're setting them up so that if there's any little issue, the software will shut the engine down completely. And the idea is an old engine, you might be able to run it inside and get it back to home base and then repair it yourself. But now if the software shuts it down, you got to get a tow, and then you're locked out of working on it because you can't get the computer readouts, and then you have to go back to the manufacturer. And you know, that's just another example of what you guys are talking about. Is that's an issue.
I get more mad at this not even as a consumer, but as a business owner, because I think sometimes to myself, I always have that thing where when I'm doing something, I always have to worry about a customer coming and throwing a brick through my window, because I sit 8 feet behind my receptionist, right? And there are certain things, there are certain lines I just don't cross. I'm not going to disable things that people buy paid for. I'm not going to send out a firmware update that stops your stuff from working 9 months later. I'm not going to have some sort of sneaky thing that says we offer you a cheaper data recovery because we're monetizing the stuff. And there's so many things that it's not even mad as a consumer when I hear about it. I get mad as a business owner because maybe it's just I'm jealous. I don't have the balls to do these things that some of these companies do. And if I did, maybe I'd be more successful.
Well, I love your energy, and I kind of like your anger too, because I think there needs to be some fire behind this, that it matters. We went from customer service and marketing to gouging the customer and control and taking advantage. And how is that okay? If I have a Sony Bravia, which I have a Sony Bravia TV, and I have Google TV, and I suddenly start getting ads out of nowhere, you know, those are negatives. If Buc-ee's is suddenly suing an Ohio gas station in the middle of nowhere because they happen to have a beaver, the idea is, you know, I don't necessarily jump into the cancel culture of you do one thing wrong and I'm never going to go back. But on the other hand, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and it makes me not want to buy your product or not want to go use your service. And there used to be that old data that used to say that if you lose a customer, you lose them for 10 years, 15, 20, they don't forget.
There's some companies that change. I mean, I remember what Bose did when they announced this, shutting down some of their products, but then they also opened up the API. And the thing is, I don't care about all the messed up things you've done if you do one thing to try and move towards it being better. Like, let bygones be bygones, we start from scratch. Because I screw up too. There are things that I've done in my business where I look at it and I go, wow, I really deserve a 1-star review. This went horribly. I read you the ticket and I want to cry. Even with like Weber Grills recently, they shut down a certain product after they bought it. I said, if you're open to making this thing work again, or even for the June oven, like, I don't want to do a bad video. Let's do a different type of video. Let's make this thing work again so that people, or at least help the homeless as the community come up with an open source way to make it work again. But I'll sing your praises. It would be great if somebody actually took me out.
Well, Unreal Tournament, my son, my 32-year-old son told me it's back up and running. Unreal Tournament 2004 and I think maybe even 2003 was owned by Unreal, still owned by Unreal. Unreal shut those servers down, couldn't play online, and they decided instead of protecting the IP, controlling the IP, they open sourced it and said, you guys go ahead and do with what you want. And sure enough, the community built an online setup so that you could play it online. The game was still good, and I still have the CDs. I own the game, and I'm like, see, they had made their money off of it. They're still here. They did the right thing. And I'm like, why are we not doing a little more of that? Let alone, like you said, penalizing people. It's just like, what are we doing? And to the extent that it's proliferated is just very concerning. It makes me want to do more advocacy. Like, this cannot, I have a 32-year-old son, I have a 13-year-old son, and I do not want them growing up in this kind of world.
You have an amazing attitude. Thank you so much. A lot of these
Nice to meet you.
The entire 3D printing bill in California,
Yep.
it came up from one person emailing me at 1 in the morning and me responding and going down the rabbit hole. So anytime there's something that you think I'm missing, that chat's over there, like I do read that, and I have gone down rabbit holes in travel.
You're doing good work, and however we can help, please, we're on the emailing list, and we want to help.
If there's something that I'm missing, you're always welcome to send something. And like I've literally gotten a last-minute flight the night before, flying out to talk to people about a bill just because somebody put it on my
Thank
radar.
you.
So thank you for watching.
Big fan.
Pleasure meeting you.
We're big fans.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything. The person in the cap is a good person to interview if you don't have.
The guy in the cap?
Yeah, the older gentleman with his wife in the old blue polo shirt and the cap.
He's very well spoken and articulate and normal and great.
Perfect.
Which is,
Which one?
the one at 1 o'clock in the blue polo. Very nice guy and also very well spoken.
Yeah, he was great.
Hey, Lewis, I just wanted to say hello.
Oh, pleasure meeting.
My name's Corey Snow. Big fan of the channel. Been a fan for, I don't know, probably 10 years at this point. Yeah, so
Got my first cease and desist. Actually, second cease and desist. Since the second.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty interesting. You know, I want to. You gave them the deadline, and I want to see how they handle that.
I've been waiting to hear back from We Recover data.
Yeah.
The EMCA and everything else, I'm really interested in now.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to see how you do with We Recover data, and if they try to push anything, or if they just keep moving all their locations in the middle of the ocean.
I think moving their locations to the ocean has worked very well for them so far. It's probably a cheaper legal strategy. I don't know how they're going to get customers in those locations. You know what's funny for one of them? I think it was Jacksonville, Atlanta, or something, but I actually tried searching for them for one of the Google locations that's in the Pacific Ocean right now. When I search for it, it still shows up when you search for that local area.
Okay.
I'm just thinking, they moved the address just because the title says Atlanta or Jacksonville or something. How is that still showing up there?
You know, it's all Google. You know, their BS.
Google knows best.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Moving over to the real star of our show. She's going to kill me.
It's like he knows when I'm tired.
I didn't realize.
Please give a large round of applause to our anonymous person that found all the Bruce Lehman clips. She's the best. I said, please give a large round of applause to the person that found all the Bruce Lehman clips. I think a good time to finish it and start back. Go for it. Thank you.
Again, I appreciate your work.
All right. I think I had this rubbing against my chin the entire time because I didn't realize to set it. Oh well. Tomorrow. Tomorrow's the real.